Otherwise, you guys said, well, we can say anyway, we'll talk.
Well, we'll talk. All right, so, anyway, I wanna, when I start learning something, the way I learn things is, what's the end game, okay? Why are we learning this stuff and where are we getting to? So as long as I know this is what it looks like at the end, then I know the reason why we're learning everything that we're learning, okay? So, when we go out, our whole process is set up so that we can just show you how everything goes, but we want to be able to go in and become that trusted advisor, okay? So we have, inside the trusted advisor, we have 10 different tools that we use. So we used to be in a selling system where we called it the 10 steps, okay? And I'll go through that with you here in just a second. And we've taken that into the 10 tools, okay, inside of the trust model, because people buy from who they like, okay? And both of you, well, anybody that comes onto this team, through our interview process and everything, we already know that happens, okay? That you have that ability to get people to like you really quick, okay? Now, when I say that, it's not a sales tactic, and I am not a big believer in not being genuine. You've gotta be genuine in anything that you do, okay? So build that genuine trust, okay? So the first part of the trust is becoming that trusted advisor, okay? So people buy from who they like, and we're gonna show you how you come in and you do the entry and the warm-up, okay? And this is all part of your training. It's all gonna be in your computer, okay? But first of all, show up on time, and we're gonna talk to you about the different things like that and what you need to do to show up on time. Don't, the best way to become a trusted advisor is you're gonna wanna, human nature is to study the house you're about to go out to and look at it and say, man, this ain't a very expensive home, or this is that. I really go against all of human nature and don't do that, okay? Here's an opportunity that we're giving you today. Here's the address. Here's the time I'm gonna be here. Go out there and knock on the door, and then start coming up with your, with what you're gonna do when they open up that front door, okay? This is something we talk about the whole sales team. In fact, we've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks in great detail, because we're getting a lot of that going on, right? So if you have a predetermined idea before you get out there, that really can't handicap you, okay? So we're gonna show you how to go in and just talk about whatever it is you need to talk about. Emulate the people that are there. Just get them to relax, get them to let their guard down. I walk into any opportunity as, man, I'm glad to be out here, okay? I'm gonna show you a few things and just go through what we go through. But you don't, even though you're gonna make your money on a one-call close unless you go through this process. You're gonna get a lot of B-backs, and you don't make a lot of money going back, okay? So, and we're gonna show you how to do that. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna do an entry and a warm-up. We're gonna build that trust really quick, and then we're gonna walk around the house and we're gonna determine the needs. Okay, we're gonna walk around, or we're gonna walk into the bathroom, and we're gonna ask a lot of questions of, so what is it that you're looking for? Is this the first time you've looked at this? You know, have you had other people out here looking at this? There's all kinds of things you want to determine, and you want to walk around the bathroom and go and take a look at that tub. This is a little mini tub, by the way. Okay, and you're gonna look at maybe some black mold down along the creases right here, right? Just kind of a little silent inspection. How long has that been like that? Okay. And that can read into a whole discussion right there. Because at this point, we don't want to sell anything. All we're doing is asking open-ended questions and writing down a lot of information, okay? We want them to tell us why we're out here, because if I tell you, Karen, why I'm out here, then it's a sales. But if you tell me why we're out here, then it's a conversation.
Yes.
Okay? So really big on those open-ended questions. okay? 80-20 rule, what's the 80-20 rule, Danny?
Somebody should be talking 80 and somebody should be listening and 20 and, yeah. It's an art for sure.
It is, and it's a hard thing to learn.
Oh, I'm perfect at it.
I bet you are.
I'm not, at all. At all.
Well, especially the kind of sales that you're coming from, right? It's pretty high pace, you're talking a lot to get people to listen to you, and you wanna just continue on to the next sentence to keep them on the line, right?
It's a fire hose, yeah.
Yeah, and just keep going to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and what you're gonna find out in this is when you're in people's homes, you're on their turf, okay? So it's a lot more casual conversation, and you don't have to feel like that you gotta just keep talking in order to keep them interested.
I can't wait really to breathe.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, once you master the 80-20, okay, what happens is they're sitting there talking, they're gonna tell you everything that you need to know, okay? I call them pearls, okay? You know, Karen, we're out here looking at your bathroom. What made you decide to have us come out?
It's older. My bathtub is cracking and pulling back from the caulk is, and it just, I think I really love to just use some different colors in here too. It was this way when I bought it, and I've never had a chance to make it my own, so.
Okay.
Needs it, and I, would like to update it.
All right. Anything else?
I could probably go on, see, he's got me talking 80% of everything. I could go.
And you could go on and on.
Tiny minute, minute thing by minute thing, but that overall, I just want it all different.
But that exercise right there is what's so important. And meanwhile, while you're telling me this stuff, I'm writing this stuff down. Okay, I'm writing down everything. Because when I'm writing things down, what that's doing is, well, for me, I do it because of my memory, right? I have to write everything down. And the second is, what you are telling me is important enough to me for me to take the time to write it down, okay? That way they know that you're listening, and that's a huge part of becoming this trusted advisor, okay? Just making sure that they understand. Because in part of the term, so all of these little tools right here intertwine in this whole trust, okay? Because determining the needs is part of recognizing the problem, okay? By the time you're done recognizing the problem, you want to make sure not only do you recognize the problem, but they have to recognize that you recognize the problem. So you're both on the same page of exactly why we're out here, okay? So now we've come in and we've done that. We're going to just come and we're gonna spend a lot of time this week going through these parts, okay, and doing a lot more role play. I'm just giving you an overview of what these different tools are, okay. So once you come to that determination, so those pearls, you just gave me probably about 5 or 6 pearls that I already know what I'm gonna talk about down here when I'm doing a product demo. I'm doing an install demo, okay? I wanna grab the pearls here so I know what to use here and here, okay? Because at this point, if you come back and say, man, I just wanna update the colors, and I come back, you're gonna love how we do things. You're gonna love these colors. Here, in fact, let me show you these colors, and I'm gonna bring them all out and I'm gonna show them all to you. That's what you call throwing up all over the customer, okay? So now what are you gonna do when you're starting to actually talk about the benefits of what we do and why we do it, okay? So it's planting this, there are little things that we do out throughout our company story that plants the seed, okay? It's just starting to plant something, an idea, and as we go through this process, it's gonna let it grow, okay? And it's gonna let it blossom. So when you get down to the end, when you first walked into the house and they gave you every objection that they're gonna give you, by the way, you need to go into a normal for the first 20 minutes you're in the house, okay? Because people are determined, or already have their biggest goal or their biggest objections up front. I'm gonna walk in the house, Danny, good to meet you, start talking about things, and you'll probably come back and say, just so you know, I'm getting other bids. Okay, great. You're a smart shopper, I appreciate that, I'm gonna write that down, okay? Man, I'm just getting prices, just so you know, I'm just getting prices. I get that, I understand you're just getting prices, that's why you have us out here, appreciate you inviting us out here, okay? Drop those walls, you're a trusted advisor at this point, okay? So, the thing, when people start giving me objections when I first walk in the house, that's money, I love that, because that's a serious buyer.
Is that like the person that says, has the sticker on their door, says like, door knockers, don't knock, or no solicitors?
Oh, yeah.
This is a door knocker for 10 years doing pest control, that was like, those were buyers, they couldn't say no.
Yeah.
That's what I just heard you say, like, that's a good sign, like, if I can just distract them for a minute, next thing you know, they're gonna be buying from you, I don't know if that's what you're saying, but.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying, cause now I know if you're telling me that right up front, I already know what I've gotta overcome throughout the whole process. Cause our whole process is closing all those doors, closing all those objections that you're gonna have before we even get to asking you to buy, okay? So we're shutting this door, we're closing this door, so basically, it's all gonna come down to price. I'll show you that here in just a second. Because if you can get them to just, not necessarily admit, but if you can get them to agree, it's just about price at this point. And we'll talk about that. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna determine the needs, and as we've looked at the bathroom, and I haven't pulled anything out yet. I've just taken a bunch of notes, I've done some drawings down, I have the back of my survey, because you'll have this in on every job that you go in on. This becomes my customer folder at the end, because I love to have notes, right? So on the back here, I'm gonna draw a few things out, exactly what they want, measurements of all that, ask them a lot of questions. And then I'm gonna simply, because I have my computer with me, when I walk into the house, I have my I carry a backpack with my computer. I have it in there with me. You'll notice when you go out on rides, everybody has the different personalities, the different ways they like to do things. I'm here to talk to you about this, we're getting to business, so I'm carrying my computer and everything with me right there, okay? So at this point, we're gonna walk out of the bathroom and we're gonna come over and say, hey, let's go sit down at the table for a second. Got some information to go over with you really quick, okay? And I'm gonna open up my computer and I'm gonna go into the company story that we go through. Okay. Now, just before I do that, at the beginning of the company story, because it's product specific, when you go into that, it's going to have a bunch of pictures of some bathrooms, okay, that we've done and different ideas, and that's going to be flashing up there on the screen and going through some different things. And while I've got this all sitting out and I've got my computer right here, Karen, hey, I just got to go out and grab a few samples. Is it all right if I let myself back in? Okay, awesome. Hey. If you want to just look at some of these pictures while I'm out there, feel free to do so. I'm taking about 5 minutes to do this, because now this has given them a little bit of a breather, and they're sitting there looking at this or looking at that, and now they're starting to calculate, man, there's a lot of work that goes into what we're doing. There's a lot of details that we're going through. I want to prepare them. That's not only a price conditioner, and one of our steps in here is called price commissioning, and that is not necessarily a step. That's done through the whole thing, okay? So now I'm gonna come back in, I'm gonna sit down, and I'm simply gonna hit the next screen. And have you studied the company story yet?
I've read through it once.
Haven't seen it.
Okay.
They have it there.
It was a while ago.
Okay, and that's fine. The very first page on the company story is basically, Danny, I want to just go over a couple things with you real quick, just to answer some questions you might have, maybe answer some questions you don't know if you have, okay? Because when I come out here, my job is to do 3 things. I'm going to tell you about our company and how we go about doing business. And then I'm going to show you our bathroom products and make sure you have the confidence in those. Now, if this is all something that you like and you want to place an order, I can help you with that. But since this is new information to you, just do me a huge favor and consider 3 things. First of all, are we a company you feel comfortable with? You have confidence in the products that we're going to show you, and then third is it fits your budget. The reality is, if you're not good with me, if you're not good with the company, if you're not good with the products, If it doesn't fit your budget, we're not gonna be able to get together with you anyway. But at least if you can answer yes to those three things, then you can make an informed decision. So is that fair enough? Awesome. So now what Danny's done is you just given me permission to do what I need to do over the next 30 minutes, half an hour, or 30 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it's gonna take to go through this, just depending on how the conversation goes, okay? So you're always preempting what you're gonna do and getting permission for it, okay? Because that way you're not gonna get, man, I don't need to hear this, I don't need to hear this. I'm explaining why I'm gonna do and why I'm gonna do it, right? So we're all on the same page, okay? Now we're gonna go through the whole company story, and I'm being general when I usually I'll say the Sears company story, but just depending on the appointment you're on, whether you're on a Sam's Club or whether you're on a Sears, I'm gonna use the word company, okay? You can put in Sam's Club or you can put in Sears, wherever you want to there, okay? So this, going through the company story is to get the tie downs. We go through all of our background checks with anybody that's into their house. We go through, and you're gonna say this three or four times or 10 times if that's what it takes throughout the appointment, is what we call the 3 drivers. And what those are, Karen, is there's 3 things that affect the price of any project. There's the materials you choose, there's the labor practices, and then there's the warranties, okay? So if you're willing to cut corners on any one or all 3 of those, that can affect the price, right?
Sure.
Okay. So for that reason, you know, with us, we want to give you the best value for the best price. Okay. So we're never going to be the highest. We're never going to be the lowest. We're usually somewhere right in the middle, giving you the quality that you need. And you don't strike me as the type of individual who wants to cut corners on those.
No, but, you know,
Okay.
when you're talking about these types of things.
Okay, so that's what we call our 3 drivers, and we talk about that in the company story, okay? We talk about our project coordinators, we talk about production, we talk about how this project's gonna go. We haven't talked about product or the install yet, but just generally how we do business, okay? Now, the reason we do that is we're setting ourselves apart from why do business with anybody else? Because there's just a lot of things we do. We also explain in the company story what we call the ladder of frustration, and everybody else in the home improvement industry, what happens is they're gonna go out and they're gonna sell someone a roof. Okay, well, we're talking about bathrooms. They're gonna sell someone a bathroom, okay? Well, what's gonna happen is they're gonna have them go to all these different suppliers and pick out all this stuff, and this particular company might buy all that stuff for them, and then they're gonna have hire a contractor to come out and put it in. That's how typical home improvements work. So let's say a year or 2 down the road, you start having a leak in your faucet, or you start noticing some mold or something coming through the wall. Well, in this particular business model, first person you're gonna call is probably the contractor that was out there, because he was the last one in your home, right? Okay. Well, then what he's gonna do is he's gonna say, you know what, we have great workers, we don't run into those issues, so it's gotta be a manufacturer's problem. Why don't you get a hold of who sold it to you? Okay, so you're gonna call up the manufacturer and they're gonna say, we have quality control. So there's, very rarely do we have those. They might even send out someone to take a look at it. And in most cases, they're gonna say it's an installation problem. So then you get a lot of finger pointing going on, okay? So with that, this is a broken model, and we know that, okay? So with us, we choose to do business a different way, and it's you and us. One person to call, one person to contact. That's one of the biggest differences between us and somebody else. Is if a homeowner has an issue with their project, they're gonna call here into the office, we're gonna open up a service on it, we're gonna send out a service tech, and we're gonna find out exactly what's going on. We take care of it. Let's say we have an installer that installed the bathroom for us 2 years ago and he doesn't work for us anymore for whatever reason, we'll pay another installer to go out and fix it, okay? We're not just gonna wash our hands of it and say, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So that's the biggest difference between us, our business model, and everybody else. So, we get in our company story, those are all the things that we talk about, so that we can get that, because at the very end, and let's say we're out on a Sears appointment, when I get down to the bottom of the company story, I ask us a very simple question, Karen. Just went through some information about our company and how we do business. So assuming this comes in at a fair price, are we a company you feel comfortable with?
Yes.
Okay, great. So for this purpose, I'll put, in my head, I'm putting this check mark in my head about Sears. Okay? Got that out of the way. But see, this system works perfect for me because I'm a systems person. I like to do little check-offs in my head. Okay, I got that out of the way. I don't need to worry about that. Well, you need to worry about it, you know what I mean, okay? So then, as we're price conditioning throughout the whole story, like throughout the whole appointment, like in the company story, there's two different price conditioners. There's soft price conditioning and there's hard price conditioning. Soft price conditioning is a word. Hard price conditioning is a number, okay? So when you first walk in and this is a big bathroom, or these are a lot of windows, this is a big roof, this is a big countertop. That's soft price conditioning, and you're gonna talk about that all the time. You're gonna talk about average countertops are on an average is 36 square feet. I say that before I go through and figure out their square footage. So when I come in at 45, what does that do?
Lets them know that they've got more than average.
Right.
More than average.
So little soft price conditioners like that, okay? When you get into the company story, we have a little line in there that says, you know, we're going all through the details with you today. And the reason why we're doing that is, the last thing you wanna do is, well, have you ever started a project and you thought it was gonna be like $5,000 and by the time you got done, it ended up being $15,000? Because you really didn't know what the details were until you got all the way done, okay? Talked to my wife about our remodeling. We're remodeling our whole house right now. When I tell her, yeah, the basement, I think, because I do the same thing, right? we can redo the whole basement for $5,000. We're about 18 into it at this point and still going, right? So, so anyway, but if we would have took the time to go through the details and know exactly what we are, because once we go through those details, we're going to give you a price down to the exact penny. And it's not gonna be a penny more, unless you decide to change the scope of the project, okay? So it's things like that that people love to hear, because you're gonna hear stories with our reps all the time, and you'll get your own stories, not that far into running your own appointments, of people that have had horror stories with contractors before, and been working with contractors before, and things like this happening, okay? And that's why we bring that stuff up, to dig out that pain so they can understand when we're talking about this, why we're different, okay? So price conditioning, we price condition through the whole thing. We're gonna go through a product demo of the bathroom, and this is where we're gonna pull everything out. We're gonna go through color choices. We're gonna go through why we have a lifetime warranty on our acrylic bath surrounds, why we do what we do and the purpose for it, and really get them to fall in love with the emotional side of this purchase. Because you have two things that need to happen when anybody decides to buy things, okay? You have the emotional side, and what's the other side? The logical side, okay? So this is all set up to deal with the logical side of it, okay? Why use us? Now we're dealing with the emotional side when we're going through the product demo, okay? We're really getting them to buy into that. And this is where I have a lot of fun in my appointments. I get animated about it. I'm up and walking around. I'm showing them things, and I'm basically putting their whole bathroom out there right in front of them, because we're bringing the showroom to you. Okay, this is a lot of fun when you're doing this, because most companies out there are making people go out and do this stuff. And how much time does that take? Okay. Now, at this point in time is where you usually get,
Rohde, what was that? You were saying most companies are doing what?
most companies they're giving you an idea and a concept, and then they're having you go shopping. They're having you spend a Saturday out at the plumbing place.
Go fill in what you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine, but time is money.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And what I love about this is on purpose, if I'm in there, especially, you do more on interiors than you do exteriors with this one here. I'm doing a full kitchen remodel and I'm 5 hours into it at this point, because there's a lot into kitchens, right? But I've got Mister over there on a Saturday afternoon just hating, like, yawning like Annie is right now, right? No, you're good. But just like, man, he's looking at his watch, he's like, and you can just tell he's hating this. And that's where my statements of any company that's gonna come out and do a good job, they're gonna go through these details, right? And Danny, how many times do you wanna go through this?
Maybe possible, please.
There you go, yeah.
Let's
So-
wrap this up.
So anyway, so you see how that goes,
Yeah.
right? Because they need to realize that, whoever else comes back out here is gonna take just as much time, and they should, okay? So we go through the whole product demo, we go through the installation demo. The installation demo is, I'm going through and showing them, and it's on the computer, little slideshows, how we take everything out, how we're gonna check for mold and mildew and all that stuff. We're pulling all the sheetrock off behind the tub surround, we're taking all this tile out. Where's a good place for us to park the trailer and everything as we're pulling all this stuff out. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm making it now, I'm saying we're gonna do this. Not the installers are gonna do this, this is us doing this and getting them used to hearing us do this project, okay? Because what they did a study with the computers of how long each rep spends on each slide in there and on the installation part of it. The Masters winners, the top 25% of, well, top 5% actually, of the company, what they come to find out is the Masters winners spent probably at least 50% more time talking about the install than anybody else in the company. Okay, because that's when it's making it real and you're taking the time so they can understand how we go about doing this and go through the details of the install. Okay, because now when I get to the bottom of this right here, I'm gonna ask you a simple question, Danny. We just went through and we picked out your bathroom, we got all those colors and everything all in here. Is this the type of bathroom you'd love to see in your home?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, I'm not writing this down on paper right here, but that's that check mark in my head. So here's a quiz for you. What was I saying the purpose of what we do? Okay, what are we doing right now?
We're
Closing what?
soft closing or pre-closing,
No, we're closing the doors. Okay, we're closing
all of the objections,
all of the objections, okay?
except price, because we haven't gotten to price
We
yet.
haven't got to price yet. And when people say, well, it depends on the price. And if you ever, and when you get
Well,
into
that'd be my
here,
comment, if I can afford it, you just asked me on that bathroom, that's my brain's thinking, if I can afford it, the price is right. Right, that's the comment you're gonna get right there, I guess, all the time.
yeah, and a lot of times, what I love to hear is, when I'm going through like a kitchen or a bathroom or roof or whatever it is, well, depends on what the price is. And I wanna hear that because it's the magic wand theory. So Karen, let's say this whole bathroom was gonna cost you $5, what would you wanna do? And then if we get down to the end of this whole thing and it's outside of your budget, we can always start peeling some things back. But let's figure out exactly what it is you want. Because at the end, if you can't afford it, it doesn't matter anyway. Is that fair enough?
Sure.
Okay, so that way it lets them shop, it lets them dream, and we're gonna show them different options, right? We're gonna show them all kinds of different things. We always wanna show 3 options at the end. Okay, and I'll go through that here in just a second. So now, once I'm done with this right here, I'm gonna sit down, or I'm gonna basically say, okay, I've got everything, I'm gonna put everything into the computer, it's gonna take me just a few minutes to do that, and then we'll go ahead and get a price ready for you. Okay, and I love to do that right there, is because that gives them another chance to get up and answer a text, get up and go feed the dog, or whatever they need to do, so that when they come to sit down and talk about the price, they're
not thinking about it.
they're not thinking about all this other stuff. It's giving them a chance to do that, okay? So then, when I've got this whole thing right here in my hand, and by this time, I'm back to this back page, okay, with the circles on it. okay? This might look familiar to you, okay, because this is what's at the bottom of this. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down, and, because keep in mind, it's been probably, and sometimes in bathrooms, it can take you 15-20 minutes to price this out, okay, because you're putting everything into the computer. So, Karen, I just wanna make sure that I'm not missing anything here, okay? So first of all, we're gonna come in, and I'm going through this checklist, we're gonna put a new toilet in for you, and it's gonna be the elongated, and it's gonna be the comfort height, okay? We're gonna replace the faucet and the countertop. We got the oval sink, or the rectangle sink that we're gonna put in there. We're gonna put in a new vanity, we're gonna put in a new medicine cabinet, we're also gonna put in a cabinet up above the john right there, okay? Is that something you still want?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. We're gonna come in and we're gonna tear out the shower area. We're gonna put a new surround in, that's gonna be in the acrylic, and I'll write this out as I'm doing this. Right? That's gonna be a standard tub. We're gonna be, with the shower doors, well, we'll talk about shower doors later, but you decided not to do a shower door, you wanna do that curtain rod, okay? So we'll get that put in for you. We've got those corner caddies that we're gonna put in, that 4-shelf unit over in the corner, okay? We're gonna put in that nice Moen shower head with the posi-temp valve on it, so it controls the pressure all the time throughout your house. We're gonna put in your grab bars. We're going to do the overflow drain in the bathtub. Then we're gonna come in and put that luxurious vinyl tile down on your flooring. And then any miscellaneous that's in here, well, as far as remove and discard of, I'll go through this. You know, your mirror, your lighting, your exhaust fan. I'm just gonna go down through and just double check this stuff, okay? Now, Karen, on any job that we do, we're gonna clean up and haul away all job-related debris. This is installed by the Sears authorized contractors that we talked about a few minutes ago. You said that was important to you,
yes.
okay? All permits and licenses are taken care of. This has the warranties on it that we talked about on this. The limited part about this, I don't say limited if they wanna say limited. And most of the time, they're not really reading this, you're just going through and checking some things off. I'll just say the warranties that we talked about, because the limited part of it is if they sell the house. A lot of times, like the Moen faucets and different things, they have the warranties of the manufacturer, even though if they have an issue with it, we take care of it, right? Any job we do has public liability insurance, property damage, and workers' compensation, okay? So let me ask you something, Danny, out of everything that we talked about right here, is anything I'm missing?
No.
Okay.
I'm curious on the limited warranty, is that, the way you're doing this paper, you standing up there, you're sitting around their kitchen table, you're in their front room, where are you at normally in this position?
You're sitting at the table.
You're at the table.
Yeah, you got the table right here. And you don't wanna, I just don't like saying the word limited, but if they wanna say, what's the limited part of it? Well, anything, say like you have a lawnmower has a 5-year warranty on it, right? Okay, that's a limited warranty, it's not a lifetime warranty. Okay, like our bath surrounds have a lifetime warranty on it, but just depending on the different components they pick out, have certain warranties on it, okay? So anything on here you want me to take out?
No, I want it all.
Okay, all right.
100%.
Perfect. Now I'm gonna come up onto the board here, and I'm gonna do this with Charlie because he knows where I'm going with this. You paying attention over there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Charlie, earlier you were telling me that you were comfortable with Sears. Is that still the case? Think we do a good job for you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, as far as the bathroom, you were saying you'd love to see this in your home. Is that still the case?
It is, yes. Thank you.
Can't wait until we take the after pictures. It's gonna look really nice. Now, we talked about the installers, we talked about the background checks, we talked about the commencement policies. You good with all that?
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Now, as far as the warranties, any questions on the warranties?
Nope, good.
We can't beat those, can you?
Mm, no.
Now, what about me? You trust me?
Oh, you'll do.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very important. Wow. So it really does look like we have everything you're looking for. You're good with Sears, you're good with the bathrooms, you're good with the installers, you're good with the warranties, you trust me. The only thing we haven't talked about is the price.
Yep.
So I want to ask you something, Charlie. Other than price, or better yet, the affordability, is there any reason why we wouldn't be able to place an order for your bathroom while we're here today?
I am gonna get a few extra bids.
Okay. And you were saying that earlier, and you're being upfront with me. I
Mhm.
really do appreciate that. The only thing I ask you to do is just keep your mind open for an opportunity coming your way. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough.
Awesome, appreciate that. Now, as far as the price is concerned, I've got it all right here, it's all ready to go. Just want to explain to you how we got to this price, or better yet, how we didn't. Obviously, I didn't come out here and spend 5 minutes and write the price on the back of a business card and say, call me when you're ready, because that really raises a lot of questions. Like, what's really included, right? And you were saying this earlier, any company that's gonna do a good job is gonna spend the time going through the details, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you notice, we didn't come out and take a bunch of measurements and say we're gonna email you back a bid. Those guys make me nervous. Because if they know what they're doing, and if they've been in business for any length of period at all, they're gonna come out and say, here's what we're doing for your bathroom, here's the price. But what they're doing, Charlie, is they are shopping that around with their vendors. And when they're doing that, are they looking for a better price for you or a better price for them?
Probably for them.
Yeah, you would think that. Especially, you know, it's like we have been saying, there's three things that affect that price. There's the materials, there's the labor practices, and there's the warranties. So the only way you're gonna affect that price is by cutting corners on any one or all three of those. And you're also saying you didn't wanna do that, right?
No.
Okay. Now, you have some great discounts in here. I love our discounts. You have that free interest for 12 months. Look, you've got to like free interest, right? We also have our volume savings. Love our volume savings. We do 10,000 jobs a month throughout the country, so we have a big volume savings, so we pass that on to you, okay? Kind of like the big box store theory, right? You know, you can go to a box store and buy a case of water for a certain amount of money, or you can go to a convenience store and buy a bottle of water, sometimes for almost the same price, just depending on what it is you get, okay? So the way we look at it is, it's easier for us to come out and do a $15,000 bathroom than it is to do three $5,000 projects or different components of that job. Less paperwork involved, less staging cost, all of that, so we pass that on to you also, okay? And then you also have that bonus that we were talking about, or that additional discount, okay? And this is what we call the initial visit discount, and this is based on the size of the job and when you do decide to have it done, okay? So we'll go through that with you also. All right. So here's your price. Now, this is tax, license, fees, everything. Now, getting out of role play, this is on your computer. I'm gonna write it on the board. Okay, so it's already on there.
Yeah, it comes out, I mean, it's line item right across.
Oh, yes.
And everything that he's gonna do will be